Hey guys, we're going to talk a little bit about color temperature here. So color temperature is one of those fundamental things that we really need to pay attention to in lighting design, particularly when we're actually coordinating things across a project. Color temperature itself is measured in what we call Kelvin. So instead of Fahrenheit or Celsius for actual thermal temperature, color temperature is measured in this Kelvin unit. The other way to think about it is the lower the Kelvin, the cooler the color temperature, the cooler like a flame. So a cooler flame might be a candlelight, so it's going to be very golden, very reddish and warm. The more efficient and the higher temperature the flame, think about like a jet engine on a fighter plane, the whiter and bluer it's going to be. Before, when we only had incandescent bulbs, we were pretty much stuck with 2700K, and that's what we're showing here. As the technology changed a little bit and we were introducing things like halogen lighting that's a little bit more efficient, a little bit brighter, we actually added in 3000K. So 3000K is the best way to think about it as a halogen light at full intensity. Going even further up is 3500K. So once we get into this range, we're actually kind of exiting what we would recommend in a residential lighting situation. For now, 3000K is actually moving to become the gold standard. One of the reasons why is because it balances that sort of golden color temperature with clean, and it also renders colors much better than a 2700K will. So one of the things that you want to look at is the color of blue, and that's why we have these three different pieces of artwork showing the same thing so you can compare them back and forth about how it's rendering color. The other thing too to think about, a lot of more modern LED fixtures that you really can't change those LEDs out of, they come standard with the color temperature, they feature 3000K. So what that means is if we're going to put those in our project and we want to stay consistent across, we want everything to look as if it's coordinated, we stick to the 3000K and we select that where we can in things like this recessed lighting here. One last thing to keep in mind. Our bodies are most attuned to the outside world. We haven't actually evolved all that much since we created artificial lighting. So when you're thinking about color temperature within your home, think about the time that you're using it. And for most of us, that's at nighttime as we're beginning to unwind and kind of settle down a little bit. Natural cues always follow the sun. That's our oldest source of light. And so when we think about when the sun is its brightest and our light is mainly coming from above us and it's white, sometimes even bluish, that's telling our bodies it's time to be awake. It's time to be active. It is time to be moving around. So when we see and get exposed to that light, that's when our bodies are at their most energized. As the sun starts to set and light is coming a little bit more from the sides and it becomes much more golden, that's what tells our body to settle down. That's what it tells our body to relax, our heart rates to go down as we're preparing for sleep. We've actually had customers who have gone in and put daylight bulbs in their house, not on dimmers, and they've come back to us and told us, like, hey, I now have insomnia. Well, you're confusing your body. You're essentially telling your body at nighttime that it's high noon and it's getting you all revved up and energized and you're not ready for sleeping. So it's going to take much longer to get to sleep. So when you actually hear about stuff like that, there's a new term that's out there. We're calling it circadian attuned lighting. It's just making the light mimic the natural world out there so that our bodies can actually follow the natural rhythm that we've evolved into. So keep that in mind when you're looking at color temperature. Be very cognizant of the way that it looks in the space, but most importantly, with all light, how it makes you feel.